Okay, hardware issue. I didn't turn on my microphone. Cool. This is so weird. Oh god. Okay. um so my stream was supposed to start 30 minutes ago. Rust Church was pretty good today actually. But unfortunately it broke my Wi-Fi. So yeah, stream was supposed to start 30 minutes ago. It did. Then it didn't, and immediately my fucking bit rate went to 0. Tried to recover, tried to do better. It's not my internet, it turns out. I turned off my Wi-Fi because it's not my internet. It is my Wi-Fi on this computer. Not sure why. I did a speed test on my Wi-Fi and now on Ethernet, and the Ethernet is 10 times faster. Not joking, literally 10 times faster. Well, obviously not joking. I mean, not exaggerating. Literally 10 times faster. Dying Wi-Fi chip is right. Here's the issue. Here's the weird part. Because, like, okay, this computer is a little bit old. Maybe it has this issue. Okay, I understand that. Here's the tiny little issue. Yesterday, I was streaming from Linux. And besides that time that the Steam overlay just completely crashed OBS and my entire computer in general for whatever reason, but that was not a network issue. Besides that, I streamed from Linux twice in the past week, and it's been flawless. And it worked amazing. Except Linux, my motherboard for the Linux computer doesn't have Wi-Fi. So how does it connect to the internet? Through Ethernet. How does it connect to Ethernet? Through this computer. This computer was connecting to Wi-Fi and sharing the connection via Ethernet. Somehow, that is fast enough for Linux to stream without any issues. Even in 4K yesterday, because I realized I was streaming in 4K, that wasn't an issue. But when I stream from this computer directly, instead of going through an extra layer, it's slow as shit. Not sure what's going on. I thought maybe because the computer was under that thing that was like holding up my monitor, there was a little gap under it and the computer was there. Maybe like the Wi-Fi signal was like not reaching properly, bouncing off or something. I don't know. So I removed it, which is also why my monitor that I have OBS on is lower than usual. And I'm so not used to this. It looks so weird. But okay, yeah, that. Um, well, I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. It's Wi-Fi, but only when I use it directly from this computer. When I use this computer's internet to stream from Linux using this computer's Wi-Fi, it works fine. When I use this computer's Wi-Fi directly, it shits the bed entirely. And mind you, I did this test when I wasn't streaming. I actually restarted the computer in between, so it's not like the fact that I'm streaming and like encoding video and stuff is maybe taking up resources. It's nothing like that. The only thing that I had open was Firefox, so I could do the speed test. That's it. It made no sense. It still makes no sense to this day, but apparently I'm going to have to reconsider my streaming setup. Most likely I'm going to have to use my Wi-Fi repeater to do what this computer is currently doing, sharing the Wi-Fi. But I'm not doing that today. Today I'm connected through Ethernet to my laptop. So what this computer used to do, my laptop is now doing for this computer. Please, laptop, don't shit the bed. Don't die. I need your Wi-Fi. Please. Oh boy, there's a lot going on. Also, hello everyone. Okay, so I'm going to actually start by I'm keeping a close eye on the like bit rate to make sure that it's not dropping, but it is lower than usual, so I have to look like this. I have to look down. But everything seems to be going fine so far. We're going to be updating this. Right now, the best way I have is to directly update the HTML. Not incredible, but hey. Well, maybe it's better if I... Can I comment out stuff? Yes, just like that. Okay. There we have that. And okay, it updated. Cool. I need to come up with a better way of doing this, but we're improvising for the time being. Okay. I feel so weird looking down at the chat now instead of looking up at the chat or at the same level. Cause like, this is so annoying. Okay, 30 minutes late, but it's stable. That's all I care about. Okay. So, in October, I worked on this little ghost game. Let's see if it runs. It's not a given. It is definitely not a given that it will run. I've changed a lot of things in the system. It does not run. I probably should have looked into this a little bit earlier. You know, if I wasn't troubleshooting my network. Because, yeah, this failing is a problem. This is a major problem. Well, not really. The first part of the stream is just gonna be moving files around, renaming shit, so it's not gonna be a lot of running code, but I need it to work. Okay. Image dot C122. That's an OS thing. That's failing. That's crashing. Here. Here, 122. This is crashing. Interesting. What did we say? Hold on. Image.c 122. Yeah, this is failing. Interesting. Oh, not this. One of these values is null. I am not a college student. I dropped out. Well, there's literally one place where this can possibly be failing, so... Is malloc failing, I wonder? Okay, I want to show the game before I move on from it, but it's crashing, so I kind of have to fix it. Or could it be that I just missed a null check and I should be oh, failed to open image. Yeah, so this is okay. The null check itself that's crashing is um yeah, because of this. And this text comes from here, or probably from the BMP thing. This is failing. Resources. Oh, yeah, it's failing to open these images. Is this live? It is live. Here's the game being created. Resources contains all of these BMP files, but it's failing to open the images because, well, that text must come from here. I kind of should have thought about this, to be honest. If the game crashes, there's not a whole lot of point to having the, porting the game engine. All of these are failing to load. Every last one of them. Quite interesting. And I made some changes to the file system yesterday, and I wonder if that's the reason that this is failing. That would be tragic. But if that's the case, I can just revert the changes. And move on. Yeah, okay. Okay, so something I changed yesterday broke the game, so we're going to be working off the main branch. Good enough for me. As to how that failed or why that failed, I don't know. But it's not the focus of what I want to do today. So I'll fix that tomorrow. Okay. So anyway, yeah, I made this little game. I have to admit, I didn't really love the overall like aesthetic of the game. It's really not my type of thing, and I can't claim I love the process, so to speak. So I'm hoping now we're gonna make it a little bit better. But the game, you play as a ghost and you hunt objects to scare people. Which is, okay, the game runs. Yeah, that was just a file system issue for whatever reason. And the thing about the way that the game is structured, the way that the people, for example, are done, is that they are kind of a very minimalistic simulation. Based off of utility AI and smart objects. Again, a very basic implementation of that, which is in a very small, simple way, the type of AI that games like The Sims and life simulator games tend to do their AI. And I believe it makes for some of the best, most compelling non-combat AI in games nowadays. So I decided to go for that type of architecture. Then what happened with stream elements? What's going on? Hi, Stony. Um, oh, all right. Kind of scared. Hacking Twitch chat. Oh God. Prompt injection on Twitch chatbots next. It's not like Stream Elements is a. Hey, I'm live. What do you know? It's not like Stream Elements is AI. So, well, I don't know. I'll check out this video later. Okay. Yeah. So in terms of the AI structure, it's utility AI with smart objects. In terms of the structure of the engine, it is an ECS structure, where essentially you don't build things in terms of its like classes and inheritance and all those object-oriented programming concepts, but rather you build building blocks called components, attach them to the objects called entities, and systems drive their behavior. So you don't have an NPC class that is capable of moving and interacting with objects and being scared. Rather, you have entities which are made out of different components like an AI, fear, hunger, sleep, a few things like those. And it is a little bit more modular. It can be a little bit harder to build certain things. So today I want to take an overall look at the entire structure of the game engine and refactor it to fit the next game that I want to make. It has to do with a command that takes chat arguments and basically executes chat's messages as moderator, since SE is mod in every chat. Right. Why is it mod anyway? It's not like it's doing anything particularly interesting. I'll have to watch the video. Be nice for now. We're on the honor system. Okay, so we're moving past the ghost game stuff. We're moving past the it doesn't really do any mod stuff in my chat anyway. It doesn't do any. No, that was a different things. No, I was continuing a different thing that I was saying. Yeah, so the game engine, most of its logic is actually within the game itself. So the game engine is called Detour, and literally this is all of its code. The important part of it is literally just this, which is just a game loop. It does nothing besides that. And then most of the actual ECS logic, AI logic, all of that stuff is all within the game itself. What I'm going to do is move it over. Refactor it, clean it up a little bit, and set it up for the other game that I want to build. Which, by the way, yesterday I did a little bit of gaming, which involved playing some hacking games because the game is related to hacking. And I took some notes, which are saved locally on my browser on a different computer, which is currently turned off. So I'm not going to be able to get them. That sucks. But I should just go to the stream VOD and get them from there because I did it on stream. So it's technically visible. And the worst part is because I had to like redo my entire network setup to be able to stream right now, and I had to do it very, very quickly and very, very hacked together. I think that computer is completely disconnected from the internet right now. Reply. See, that's not a command that I have enabled, so. None of my. I don't have any of those commands enabled. As for college, I knew how to code before college. I've been coding since I was like 14, and I learned zero coding in college. I learned a lot of math. To this day, I have worked in a lot of different places related to computers, even making a damn operating system, web stuff. Um, that didn't work. Also, you're moderator, so to be fair, you know what? We are removing the ability to add new commands for moderators. I can do it from my end anyway. Bro, stream elements. Seriously, I just disabled it on the wrong one. Hold on. Damn it. All right, now I disabled it. I'm a little bit disappointed that we will cover in terms of programming is Python and web dev. I'm already past Python. That is... You know what I did? C and Java. Those are the only two programming languages that they ever taught in my university. C was 2 semesters. I believe it was 2 semesters. It was split in 2. I don't remember if it was like half a semester or 1 semester each half. But yeah, it was split in 2. The first half, we didn't touch a goddamn computer. We were learning programming. It was a programming class. We were not touching a computer. It reminds me of that tutorial that we saw a few streams ago on how to build an allocator for your operating system, and it was like, don't code it. Grab pen and paper, design it. You're not gonna code it. Okay, you're done with that? Don't code it. You have to think of how to free memory. Don't code it. Don't you dare touch a computer. That's what it felt like. A university would probably be different, but college in the UK is like a level behind university. Yeah, you do have a distinction for that. Not sure how that works, to be honest. I went to college in Italy. University in Italy. It's the same thing for us. But yeah, so the first half of my programming class was literally a lecture. Which is not wrong. You gotta teach the theory, but like, you know what the best way to teach theory for programming is? In front of a fucking computer where the students can program and see what you're teaching them in action. This seems like logical to me, but apparently universities are like, you're not gonna fucking touch a computer. Don't you dare. Goddamn Karate Kid teaching methods, I swear to God. That was the first half of the programming course. The second half, we were actually in, well, the second half, I was like, okay, finally, we're gonna be programming. And then the class is again in the normal, lecture classroom hall thingy. So we don't have computers still. And I'm like, why are we doing it here? The first half of that was theory, again, taught by a different professor, the one who was gonna like actually make us program. The first half of the practical actual programming was again theory. And this guy, I am sorry to the professor, but he had the most boring voice. He like talked like this a little bit, so like it was like really boring. And like his class was like the last one of the day on both the days that we had it, so it was like really fucking boring. And like it made me want to I'm literally trying to fall asleep right now. So eventually we made our way to fucking computers. And the class was something like, okay, everybody. Can't be bothered typing out the whole thing, right? But it was like, okay, we're gonna learn programming. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. This is how integers work. Okay, so you're int a as 0, right? Okay, cool. And b, that's 1, right? Okay, so you can like add them together a little bit. Like up and m and then c. That's gonna be like and even like print up. And don't forget to return one. Okay. There you go. That was the level of programming that we were taught. And so this is the kind of like actual programming exercises that we had in that class. And then I show up to the exam and it's like, create a program capable of translating leet speak into Italian. And leet speak is like when you type like this. So you replace the E's with 3's and the I's with 1's and whatnot. So another, he gave us like multiple non-trivial programming problems to solve for the exam. It was that one. There was one about chess. I don't remember exactly what we did with chess, but it was not super simple. And I was just like, how did we go from one plus one is two to this shit? And like, I already knew how to program. I had been doing it since I was 14, and I started with C and C++. So like, it wasn't particularly difficult, but like, I was still taken aback by the fact that this was so much more complex than the actual things that this guy taught in class. Now, I will admit, there is a chance, a non-zero chance, that I fell asleep during the second half of each class, and that's when he did the actually complex stuff. Could be. I don't remember any of my classmates remembering him ever teaching this kind of stuff. But maybe we all fell asleep. So, IDK. Don't chat here, but I do love watching your streams. So I'm happy to hear that. And I'm happy to hear that I survived your Twitch following purge, even though I changed my name and I actually like lost a few followers over that because people did not recognize me. Happy to hear that. And welcome. The understimulation of some of these lectures causes crazy because they keep rehashing the same ideas while somehow explaining the concepts behind them. It's so boring. Bro pulled a Dio and teachable time was stopped. He had the ability to stop time. I'll give him that much. He had the ability to stop time. Oh, and most likely people unsubscribe. I had never seen. Okay, it's not like I'm looking at my following number every single time, but I just passed 800 and now I'm 799, and it happened when I changed my name. So, I'm assuming it's because of that. That makes sense. Like, okay, all of it, I was following this develop from scratch guy. Now I don't know who the fuck this is. So, makes sense. Just look at what channel thumbs up. It's different on YouTube and Twitch, to be fair. On YouTube, you rely a lot more on recommendations, which is why if you watch like any YouTuber ever, at some point they're gonna pull the old, actually, the vast majority of people who watch my channel are not subscribed, so take a moment to hit the follow button. Because most of us watch contents from channels that we're not subscribed to, because we watch them from the recommended page. It's very common. On Twitch, you rely more on the following. It's more of a perpetual thing. No, that's not the right word. But you watch it more of that you watch more regularly. Sometimes I subscribe so only that I can save a video which I want to watch later, which I won't do because I forget about it in the next 5 minutes. See, I really hate when I'm logged into this account because I get a lot of programming recommendations, and every once in a while I want to watch some of these videos, but then I don't watch videos on this channel. So I'm just like, why? Like, it's so annoying that like if I save it, why is there political shit? If I save it, then I'm never gonna watch it because I have another channel where I actually watch stuff. And today I made an exception to that because I was watching stuff on here while fixing my network. So I watched a video by this guy and then I subscribed and I realized I subscribed to a channel where I'm never gonna watch him. So I'm gonna have to fix that. Anyway, also this video. I'm not actually gonna watch it on this channel. But yeah, I feel like on YouTube people are a lot less intentional with their follows. If I liked your video for a second, I'll follow you. That guy looked like your long lost cousin. Yeah, me and Soding are distant cousins. We see each other at Christmas. Pretty much. Zyokash, thank you for the subscription and welcome. I'm never logged in on YouTube. I just bookmark. Bro, create an account. For the love of God, create an account. Oh God. Bookmark, like the browser bookmark. Create an account. It's this is not that big a deal. They're tracking you anyway. Okay. All right. And we're back at 800 subscribers with that one. Followers, not subscribers. 800 subscribers would be like a significant amount of money. We're talking about 800 followers, not subscribers. 2,000 bookmarks in my browser. At some point, they become meaningless, I feel like. In the same way that YouTube subscriptions are meaningless. Okay, I'm gonna start doing some stuff. So first off is move most of this into the game engine itself. I then probably want to create a little demo inside the game engine so that I can test out the changes that I make. And then, because it's a kind of a pain in the ass to have to update the engine, then update the game with the new engine every single time, which is why I built it in here. But this is the way that we are going to be doing it for the time being. Most of it is, this looks cool, I'll read it later, but then I'll never read it. See what I mean? 2,000 bookmarks is meaningless at this point. But yeah, back to the college thing. I think the best way to learn programming is by programming, not by hearing someone yap about programming. And granted, that will teach you more formal knowledge, more specific knowledge. Like when I don't know, I learned programming by doing the exact same things that that professor was teaching, but like actually doing them, not sitting there looking at a PowerPoint. And then that's how I learned that stuff. But then, for example, like optimization, things like those, you don't learn them just on their own. you have to most likely you'll create some code that is so slow that you're going to be like, why is my code so slow? So you Google that or you ask AI nowadays and it'll tell you and you'll learn optimization that way. That's how I learned anyway. But it's something that, okay, you won't intuitively learn, but it pretty much all follows the same philosophy for me, which is like, I want to do this thing. So I Google, how do I do this thing? Oh, with programming. Okay. What can I do for programming? Well, C is a basic fundamental language, so I'll learn C. And then that's pretty much what I did. And then like, okay, I want to do this thing in C. Okay, how do I do this in C? Oh, it's something called arrays. Okay. And how do I do this other thing in C? Oh, I use this thing. Okay. So that's kind of how I learned most of this stuff. Exams being done on paper is the worst part. Having to do handwritten C with the syntax below with curly braces and shit. I cannot fucking draw a curly brace. I have to admit, I have done like handwritten tests. Now in that university, that was in Italy, they didn't do handwritten tests for programming. At the very least, they made us like have a fucking computer in front of us. Before I went to that college, I went to college for 1 year in Venezuela, and there we did Fortran. And the exam was on paper. And the worst part is, in terms of teaching style, that was the best one. Because they were actually teaching you how to do things. And they were actually giving you practical programming knowledge instead of just dumping theory on you, and my light just fell over. Yeah, my entire setup is messed up now, so... There. That shouldn't fall anymore. I feel like I'm brighter than the sun. There, that's better. But if I'm not mistaken, Fortran doesn't have curly braces, so that was a big... I decided that instead of AI, I am going to call my game AI brain. So I don't know who suggested it in the chat the other day when I was talking about doing this, but I have officially adopted your suggestion. All right. There we go. The game engine is now here, and it's C only. We're not doing C++. Shit, I should do it in assembly. What am I doing? I'm wasting my time here not doing it in assembly. No, we're good. We're good. We're good. Okay, let's not go crazy here. No, let's not go crazy here. Had a little bit of a moment, but I am past it. The minimalist in me is begging for assembly. Okay. How do I know that this works? First off, my make file. Find this name C. Is that recursive? Let me see. In the OS, I have a very similar setup. And I should be able to tell if it is recursive or not. From the looks of it, it is. This looks pretty recursive to me. Yeah, because they all use the same find syntax, so that should be recursive. Okay. How do I know that this works? I don't know, actually. Exactly, I don't know. I have zero clue whether this works or not. Such is the pain of building a library. You never know what you're going to get. Last commit was 6th of October. I haven't updated the game engine since then. Time to do that. There are a couple considerations that I want to make changes in here in the engine. But the way that I'm going to test if this works is move everything over and then remove it from the game and then make the game use it as a library. It actually already uses it as a library. And it's just a matter of moving all that stuff over. See, engine.h is already missing. That's from ECS because engine.h is now in a parent director. Types.h comes from the, okay, these come from the system themselves. These you're going to get from ECS. ECS core, I shouldn't have to put this actually. That should make it search include files from the top level directory, so that should no longer be a problem. There you have it. Okay, that compiled. We don't know if it works or not. Okay, so I'm going to go to the game and I am going to delete. Well, the game actually, come to think of it, now should have a bunch of duplicate definitions of things, right? It does not. So that's not a good sign. You search in the engine include directory, which is this one. But then of course, right. When I import ecs.h, it's referring to this file because this one is actually ecs/ecs.h. Any recommendations on learning C material for beginners? No, really. What I can say is whatever little knowledge you might have or you might acquire, apply it somewhere. Use it to do something and actually use that knowledge. Don't just make it into like something abstract. As for actual books, tutorials, or anything like that, I'm not sure. Wait, this one. Okay, this is specific for my game. So this one stays here. Okay, and these are exactly the kind of errors that I was expecting to find. Because ecs.h no longer exists. It is now ecs/ecs.h. There and there. Same thing goes for ai.h. Becomes brain. Brain and brain. And the last one, ECS core.h, is going to go into ECS and now it will compile, but everything is moved over into the engine. Cool. And will the game run? L'Answer is a oui. Okay. Another thing. the code that was crashing earlier was this one. Okay, so there was a null pointer exception here that was happening, and I might want to fix that. Okay. To prevent the crash that was happening before when the images weren't loading. Now, as to why the images weren't loading, that was a file system error from the experimental changes that I made yesterday. But either way, I don't want the game to crash when this happens. Although in this case, nothing should change, right? But if I switch to my OS branch with the file system stuff, and I rebuild the OS, and then I rebuild the engine. See why I was holding off on moving stuff out of the game into the engine? Because now I need to rebuild 3 different projects. Now it runs, even on this branch. Wait, why does it run even on this branch? What? Wait, maybe you need to reload. Because it's not supposed to run, but it's also not supposed to crash. You're not supposed to run! Failed to open image. Bro, what? If you fail to open the image, how are you loading the image? What kind of sorcery black magic is this? Are there any missing images, maybe? Oh yeah, all of these failed. Okay. Good. Oh, so it's failing to load the same image multiple times. Which makes sense, because that's exactly the change that I made yesterday, so... Alright. Like I said, not interested in fixing that right now. I'm fixing that tomorrow. Right now, I'm interested in the engine not crashing because of that. So, going to detour and boom. There we have it. Okay, and then I gotta go into the game, make the same change, just to commit that I removed all of these and then I changed all of these as headers. Oh, and I forgot to mention that I changed a null pointer. Well, I caught a null pointer exception in the engine, but whatever. Here, I'm not following the same structure. Yeah, we're good. All right. Which also, by the way, officially open sources the ECS implementation of the game engine, because that was in a closed sourced project. Now it is in an open source project. Okay. One more meaningless change. And I'm just that anti-AI. I'm just doing this for fun at this point, really. Ghost game. Okay, any implementation of ai.h is going to be removed, replaced with brain.h. And any implementation of ai underscore is going to become brain underscore. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. Make that. Make run. Wait. Didn't I replace all of them? Now it's complaining about a missing human ai.h. No, what is it called? Human AIT list. Yeah, obviously that doesn't exist anymore. There's some macros here. The game engine is 90% macros. So where are you complaining about it? In path following. Wait. Oh, the pathfinding stuff is not moved. Oh, that's not supposed to be. It is now inside brain. Here and here. I'm just wondering where it's complaining about that now. In function path following. Okay, so it's part of the engine that's failing. Path following is this function over here. And it is using brain, not human AI. Do I need to clean, maybe? Yeah, okay, that was that. Chester, what are you doing? All right, the game runs again. And I'm still on the wrong branch, aren't I? I'm not supposed to be on this branch. Hello, buddy. Why is there a fan here? I just saw it in the camera. And then I want to go into the ghost. No, I already did the ghost. What I want to do is go into detour and okay. One last change before I officially say goodbye to the game. Not really. Wait. Render fear debug is Okay, fear debug. This thing is what I'm looking for. Setup.c. We're just going to get rid of this, and now our guys won't have a little bar showing their fear anymore, which they were never supposed to have. I just forgot to move that. All right, and just in time, it's time to actually start working on this. There's an ad, so we're gonna wait for that to be done. Just gonna commit this. And I'll be back in 3 minutes. Okay, we're back, and I have a unusual PSA for everybody. There is a difference between the BBC and BBC News. So, if you see something on social media from them, make sure you know which one you're looking at. Because I just opened TikTok and I saw a video about an alien invasion posted by the BBC. And it took me a second to realize it wasn't from the BBC News. It was just from BBC and they were just advertising some movie or TV show. It's not like I just had a moment where I just freaked out, oh my god, aliens are invading. It was obviously dramatized, but still, just a PSA to remember. If you see something from the BBC, make sure that you know whether it's from the BBC or the BBC News. Also, this is how the people felt when they heard that War of the Worlds broadcast. Was it on BBC Radio? I don't know, but a long time ago. All right. As far as I know, we're not being invaded by aliens. So we can continue doing some random programming. Maybe we are being invaded by aliens. I'm still not entirely sure about that jester guy. He claims to be a dog, but I have my suspicions, you know. And suspiciously, he's not here today. What do you know? Alright. Always a little bit freaked out when I look up here and my Wi-Fi is off, but that's just because I disabled it. And also my stream manager on YouTube is freaking out on me, so... Let me fix that real quick. Alright, there we go. And it doesn't know that I'm live. It takes a few seconds for the stream manager on YouTube to even show you that you're live. And the entire time it's like, you're not live right now. So, it's a little bit suspicious. Oh, there comes Jester. I was just talking about you. Yeah. I was just talking about you. All good, don't worry. Okay. Alright. Once again, you're here because you're warm. Oh my god. Can you sit, please? Okay. So this is how I'm gonna be coding. I have a little headrest here. Yeah. What was I even doing? Yeah, okay. Started the refactor of this game engine stuff, and all the notes that I took yesterday are gone. They're on a computer that's technically not even able to connect to the internet right now. And I have to say, Excalibur, this program, this thing, I love that it works, even though it's a web-based thing, all the data stays within your browser. That's pretty great. Until, you turn off your computer. And then you disconnect it from the internet and you don't know what to do about that. Is there any way I can get my notes quickly into this computer? No. Not without disconnecting literally everything. Just to turn on the other one, so, oh well. Here's the overall plan, I guess. Can I start over? Can I do like an entirely new drawing while keeping the one that I currently have? I think not. There's reset the canvas, but I don't want to lose what I have, although I can just save it. But I also don't want to... There's a plus version of it. Save your drawings to the cloud. There it is. It is open source. I didn't know this was open source. Good for them. How much are we talking? Because this is actually really, really good. I have to admit. I don't have unlimited scenes, but do I have limited scenes? Oh no, I have limited access to generative AI. All of a sudden it became not so good anymore. There's voice hangout. Yo bro, call me on Excalibur real quick. I gotta show you something. Why did they waste engineering time building that? Alright, so let's not bother with any of that. What will I do without advanced AI features? Cry. How sad. Okay, well, it does not matter. It is literally an infinite canvas too, so if I wanted to, I just go over here and start building the game stuff here, which I don't really want to do because I already have it somewhere else. But, okay, yesterday I looked at a game called Greyhack. Pretty cool game, want to keep playing it. Yes, it's stored locally. Pretty amazing game, I have to admit. I loved the way that it works. And in terms of the gameplay, it's very similar to what I had in mind. Actually, I haven't given much backstory to why I want to make a hacking game. But in August, I considered doing a game jam. And there was this game jam. I don't remember the name of it, but it was a cyberpunk game jam. Maybe I'll find it. Is this it? July? Theme is hard reset. Maybe not this one. April, no. April last year too. Oh, this one. Maybe. It was like a monthly thing. Could I link which the first one I opened? This one? They're all over, but this one is monthly. So can I see? Okay, Portland Horton. Pretty sure I'm in their Discord, so I could just check that. I can link it, but it ended, and that one I don't believe is a monthly thing. First one. Here, that didn't copy. The fuck? Yeah, OBS is having issues with copy paste now for some reason. So there you have it. That's the link to yeah, this Cyberpunk Jam from July 19th to July 28th. Okay, well, the one I wanted to join is this one. Although not this one, because this one's in May, but I think it's a monthly thing. But anyway, I wanted to join it, I believe, in August. But I had vacation in August. And so I I believe I was gonna be gone for like the second half of the jam. And I also wanted to join it, like, I don't know. If it's the same dates as this, but like a month later, it was like I wanted to join early August and it ended 2 weeks later, but I was going to travel. I didn't have a team. I didn't have an idea. I didn't have enough time. So I decided not to join, but I wanted to still do a Cyberpunk jam. And I'm going to link this one as well, even though it's the old one. I'm pretty sure. What day is it today? Okay, they're not running one, but they're probably going to run one for December pretty soon. I'm surprised that this doesn't let me see game jams that this person is hosting. Why is that not a thing? Electronic musician, video game developer, and indie game developer. Not seeing a lot about it here. Maybe the about. No. Oh well. Anyway, I wanted to join that. I started toying with the idea of a hacking based game, but not since I didn't participate, I never ended up doing anything with that. But of course I still want to. And why are you obsessively licking your leg? Relax. Why are you shaking him? Poor thing, he's so cold. There. Fixed it. It is now. Whoop. It is now. I messed up my camera, but that is just. Oh my god. The cable for this camera is like a tiny bit too short. That's Jester over there. So it gave me the idea for making a hacking game, but I really haven't developed that idea too much. But yesterday I kind of came up with a little bit of how I would want to do it. But also a big issue that I had with it is that I would need to make an HTML or Windows export, which means I would have to use a game engine or do everything from scratch in 20 days. And that's just not how I roll anymore. So game jams are off the table for a little bit until I have a good open source, cross-platform game engine, although it's also open source. So for the time being, they're not on the table, but yeah. This is how I came up with the idea of a hacking game. And then yesterday I saw this one, which I don't even remember what my original idea for the game was, but it had everything from scratch in 20 days. Sounds like 20 days with a lot of caffeine and not a lot of sugar. I don't know about not a lot of sugar. I feel like I probably would need a lot just to survive. Oh, sleep? That makes more sense. When I saw this, why do I sugar instead of sleep? Why did it not open? What happened? Secure connection failed. Oh, too bad. Again, I don't remember what this idea was, but I do remember that I had an idea for something like this that looked like this, like navigating a network with an interface similar to this. So, oh yeah, I think like to infiltrate a network, you would wanna find a vulnerable computer and then use it to hop to other computers within the same network, kind of. So that was, and the interface could look a little something like this. But again, that was just a random idea. I hadn't really developed it too much. However, for this game, it seems very similar to what I wanted to do. One big issue that I had with it, it's gonna sound very familiar, Unix. They made it kind of realistic in the sense that a lot of the tools that you use are similar to the way that they would work in real life. And that includes the way that you interact with the system as a Unix system, which is pretty cool because it makes it so that you're already familiar with how to use it. You don't have to learn commands, a new set of commands, just to learn how to play this game. So I like that. But what I didn't like about it is it feels like a lot of the same quirks that Unix system have also been replicated in this game. And that part really frustrated me. You're gonna put whatever to install into bin or user bin so you can access or you can install apps and tools from anywhere on the system. Yeah, so they simplified it, but not a whole lot. That part bothered me. Because it was like, god damn it, now I'm doing it has all the cool things about Unix, but also all the bad things about Unix. If you're making a fake operating system for a game, exactly, a game can really go without that part. Exactly. You could just not do that. You're not actually built. Obviously, for a real life terminal and a real life operating system, to look for executables everywhere on the system is insane, super impractical. But you know, for a video game, a very restricted system, then it's not so impractical anymore. And you could have done that. You don't have to put stuff in the bin folder, which is not even what I did. I just put it in the user folder and then just ran it from the folder itself, but still. That part frustrated me, but the overall gameplay is pretty good. The overall gameplay also reminded me of, you know, you actually have to do things in a very realistic manner, but the advantage of it being done in a realistic manner is that it is logical, which means that if you have any real life knowledge, you can apply that real life knowledge to the game. But even if you don't have real life knowledge, which I don't, when it comes to hacking stuff, even if you don't have real life knowledge, you can still apply some basic logic and know that it is going to work because the game is consistent. The realism adds consistency. That part is great about it. I don't want to go for realistic in my game, but I want to go for consistent. I believe the important part about realism that makes realistic games good is the consistency. Whereas when they go for realistic, I feel like it's not always fun. And a lot of the times realism goes too far. They don't even go for real realism, they just go for difficulty. Like another game that I was taking inspiration from is Project Zomboid in the aesthetic of the game. And about a year ago, they released a new build in which swinging an axe like 3 times broke it. Like an axe would break super fast. And your character would get unbelievably tired after like killing 3 zombies. It still happens, by the way. The axe thing, I don't think happens anymore. But I have been playing this one recently, and I can tell the game, like, your character gets tired after nothing. Dragging a corpse around, which is an important mechanic, because otherwise you can get sick, will tire you to the point that you won't be able to do anything else for the rest of the day. I don't think that's realistic. I feel like dragging a person for a little bit is not that intensive so that it just completely destroys you for the rest of the day. I feel like they didn't go for realism there, they just went for difficulty, disguised as realism. In the same way that, like, oh, your axe breaks all the time, so you have to take care of your tools. That's too punishing. If a real life axe broke after, like, chopping down one tree, I would go to the person that sold it to me and tell them that they scammed me. Like, that would be so unrealistic. That's pretty realistic for basement gamers who never move. Fair. They added basements in the same build, so maybe that's what they were going for. That's the build 42 that was being referenced earlier. I don't know that that's so realistic, to be honest. Like, it really bothers me that, like, it's a game about killing zombies. Can I please kill zombies without being exhausted? I kill one zombie at a time. I'm playing right now on a builder difficulty, which is a low difficulty. Usually I play custom and I customize my settings because there's a lot of things that are not really realistic. Like zombies respawn. That makes no sense. They respawn and they migrate. I usually turn off respawn because they don't respawn. And migration still makes it so that you still have to take care of zombies. It's not like you just clear an area and then you never have to deal with zombies again because of migration. But most of the careers are like police. Oh yeah, exactly. The starting careers, I usually go for a firefighter or a lumberjack. How the fuck do I break an axe after 3 swings? Or like become exhausted after killing 3 zombies? That makes no sense. But yeah, like usually I go for no respawn because I think that's just nonsensical. And if you have a migration that already acts like a respawn, then you don't need respawn. And you could say like, okay, but new zombies are being created as new people are being infected. But then until they add NPCs to the game, which they are planning on doing, but they're not doing yet, I'm not really believing that because there are no other people. If I don't have the advantage of there being other people in the world, then I also don't get the drawbacks of there being other people in the world. So that's why I turn off things like respawn. But yeah, I was playing in like a easy difficulty and just clearing my surrounding area of my base made me exhausted in the 2 or 3 days that it took me to do it. It took me 2 or 3 days because there were a handful of zombies. In a previous build, it would have taken me an afternoon to do it. In this one, it took me 3 days because my character kept getting tired beyond, like, almost unable to move immediately. And that is not really realistic. However, I still really like this game. And like I said yesterday, I want to take inspiration from it. I don't want the hacking to be like in this game and most other hacking games that I looked at. I have to admit I wasn't really able to play most of them. Had a couple important technical issues because of them too. But yeah, most of them I feel like you're just sitting in front of a computer. The gameplay is the computer. This is essentially playing in a virtual machine, this game. Not really, but yeah. In terms of gameplay, that's what it feels like. Ilunga. I hadn't heard that one in a while. But I don't want the gameplay to just be sitting in front of a screen inside a simulated operating system, inside of my own operating system, which you're probably running through a virtual machine, so like 3 levels of recursion. No, we're not doing that. I'm also planning on making it cross-platform, so maybe it won't need to run on Redacted OS, but yeah, that's a plan for the future, so we're not going to deal with that right now. From Greyhack, if anything, I think that they get the hacking tool simplicity, but being based around real usage, really good. No, yeah, it is simple. It is simple. It's not like I had to learn how to use any of the tools. Whereas if I used any of those tools in real life, I would actually have to learn how they work. I don't have to do that. Besides, the very simple manual and very simple tutorials that they give you in the game. But I still want to base it less on the computer, more on the real world. And this is where the graphs that I drew yesterday would be so useful. You know what we're gonna do? Hold on. Oh, I unlisted the VOD. Alright, but it's here. Hello, Raiders. Welcome. Hello, Tim. How's your stream been? We're doing some game engine architecture stuff today. Here it is. This is the best way to get access to it. Since I don't have the actual physical file, this is it. Okay, but what is going on with me there? Can I just... Yeah, that's better, I guess. This is how we're gonna be looking at this file. Hold on, let me at least like take a screenshot of it. No, how do you take a screenshot again in Mac? Command Shift P, right? No. Command Shift 3. That's how you do it. Okay. I did change my name, yes. I just switched to using my actual name. What an incredible way of getting access to a document. Amazing work right there. Okay. This is it. This is kind of like the mechanics that I came up with. I'm trying to use these tools when I really can't. Okay, I decided that in a way you kind of craft hacks and then you apply them in the real world. So again, this is where Project Zomboid comes in, because I wanted to make the game happen in the real world. I wanted you to physically interact with things. Obviously, like a computer interface is still gonna play a role in it, but I also want it to be like a real world thing. So in that sense, again, it was easier to show it when I was playing the games. But essentially you can just interact with objects in the real world. I decided to divide the hacks into 3 different components, which is the actual payload, or what hack you're doing, how you deliver it, be it like a physical hack, so you go up to the device and you hack it, or you send a text to the person, or you send an email, or you leave a USB line around or something. And then the exploit that you use in order to gain access to the system, in order to go from having the delivery method being a completely normal interaction to delivering the payload. And the payload is essentially the hacking programs that pretty much every hacking game tends to include programs like these. Greyhack, I think, actually has them coded. Like, the cool thing about the realism that they have is that they are actual programs, I think, anyway. I remember seeing a view source for the scripts that I was using. No, actually, I viewed the source of the rm command, so I'm assuming that the hacking tools also have some source code that is, you know, valid and reasonable for how they built the game. So I'm assuming it actually makes the game scriptable from within the game, which is a pretty interesting thing. Is that actually the case? I have no idea. That's how I feel like it was. Whereas I would want to make mine not based off of code, more so some kind of visual language. I'm not sure, because that's like what this means. How realistic do I want to make the internals be? Do I want my machines to be like, I don't know, 8-bit architecture machines that have actual code running on them, simulated, obviously? Or do I just want to create something purely simulated? The programs that you have, do I want to make them actually codable? These things I haven't decided yet, but this is how I want to build the game. You kind of unlock these programs, or depending if I make it realistic-ish, you can also write the programs yourself. You can put them together using some sort of visual scripting language. If it's realistic, you can also do it through just a scripting language. And then you pick a delivery method. I'm not sure exactly how exploits are picked. I don't think you... I'm not sure about that part yet. Yeah, like, okay, I create a payload and I put it onto a USB. That's pretty much automatically tied to an exploit. So maybe these two are tied together. Whereas if I put it onto a text, then like the vulnerability, I don't know. I don't know. Hey, Zach. Like what vulnerability does the text exploit? Can it be patched on different phones? You have to look at what version of the phone somebody has. I'm not sure yet. I guess this is the overall idea. How the exploits work, I have no idea yet. But this is the overall idea, and we'll develop it from there. And again, like I said, I do want it to be a real world type of... Well, not real world, but like a interactable world type of game. I feel like that opens up the possibility for something like social engineering as well, physical exploits, things like those that you normally wouldn't have in a game like this. But of course, that adds a lot of complexity to it. But that's what we're here for. We like complex stuff. Otherwise, I would just be making this in Unity. And making it... Hell, I wouldn't even need to make it. There's already plenty of games that do exactly what I want. If I'm doing something different, I'm trying to... If I'm doing something on my own, I'm trying to make it different. I'm trying to make it my own thing. Even if it's difficult. So, let's go for it. All right. I guess we'll never know what this word is. Because it's covered by the cursor in the screenshot. I'm pretty sure it's SE. Social engineering. Should be able to just... Oop. There you have it. It's even less readable now. But, yeah. So in order to do this, there's the entire hacking components, and then there's the entire world of the game, which I said also in terms of the how you interact with it. I'm inspired by Project Zomboid, but I'm also inspired by its aesthetic. This is what it looks like. It's a 2.5D game. Oh god, I clicked on this website again. Last time I showed this exact same thing and the exact same thing happened. It's a 2.5D game. Your character is actually 3D. Cars are 3D, but static objects like walls, windows, and whatnot are actually... Again, I don't know how the game works internally, but if I had to do it, which I do, so this is how I'm gonna do it. For example, these counters, this radio, they're 2D sprites based off of a 3D render. I also like 3D rendering more than I like pixel art, or just 2D art in general. I'm not great at it, at either of these, but I I'm probably better at 3D than 2D, so I can do that. And you know, if the game really evolves into something, I can consider hiring an artist eventually. But mostly we're doing architecture stuff. Have I thought about the structure of the engine? Yes. So since the engine is based off of a game that I built in October, the engine is based off of a game that I built in October. I just finished porting a lot of its code over from the game itself to an engine. And there are a few architectural considerations for me to make before moving elsewhere. But ECS architecture is the way that I've built most of the game. The AI is built off of the Sims utility-based AI with smart objects, which also is really great for a game of this kind. The utility-based AI is probably less important. It will just drive like the behavior of NPCs and whatnot to kind of simulate a very basic version of their lives, which is how I built it for the Ghost game as well. And the smart object interactions is really interesting because adding new functionality that NPCs can interact with is done through the object, not through the NPC. So I like that part. My current OpenGL renderer is OOP and it's hard to work with sometimes because everything is encapsulated. Yeah, object-oriented programming is, you know. There is one problem actually. One architectural problem that the engine currently has. Did I even have a to-do for it maybe? For games and engines? Yeah, absolutely not. There's this for the refactor to keep in mind. And then, okay. The way that the interaction system works, the utility-based AI is kind of crazy. I hate it. It's hacked together, pretty much. ECS is great until it isn't. The modular design of it is great until you need those modules to talk to each other. And then it's a little bit of a struggle. Here's the problem. They teach it like that because object-oriented programming is the most common type of programming. Only recently have people actually started moving away from it. All right. So when I say utility-based AI, am I far enough from my... Yeah, okay, I'm good. In my current game, there's hunger, sleep, entertainment, and fear. These are needs that people have. They want to keep their fear as low as possible, their hunger as, well, their hunger filled, which is as high as possible, but that actually means full, not starving. So hunger is not necessarily the most descriptive name for it. Because the higher the hunger, the better off you are. Kind of counterintuitive, but yeah. Your entertainment as high as possible and your sleep as high as possible. And so the way that these AIs work is, or these brains work, as I renamed AI to brain, is that they have some code, which I'm hoping to remember where it is. This, actually. This code here. Well, actually, they have a definition of a need. So hunger, sleep, entertainment, all of those are needs. And they have a current value, a maximum and minimum value, and a desired value. So when it comes to what did I just do? Bro, why is the text so small? How do you set the uniforms from the component? The what? What uniforms? What do you mean? Oh, well, we're drawing it with the mouse, which is great. Oh, shader uniforms. Okay. Yeah, I don't have any shading. That's the thing. Everything is done through just basic frame buffer rendering. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Because the GPU that I'm using on the virtual machine doesn't support shaders. Okay. For the love of God, I don't know how to draw this. But let's imagine that this here is my hunger bar, right? And let's make it a little bit smaller. This is its current value. No. This is its current value. So for a bar, the minimum is here, the maximum is here. This is the current value, and the desired value drives the behavior of the NPC. The desired is the maximum. Like I said, they want to be as full as possible. So based on how far away their current and the desired are, that drives the priority that need is given. So this one here would have a low priority. Why is the text so small? This is supposed to be like... I'm like way zoomed out and I didn't even realize. Oh, shit. No, not that small. Okay. So its priority would be really small. Whereas, I don't know, my sleep bar is a lot lower. And so its priority would be higher. Because it's another one where the desired value is as high as possible. But when it comes to the fear, for example, if they have a high fear, this is a problem. They should want to take care of that. I never added a way to take care of that, but ideally they'll want to take care of it. And its priority is going to be even higher because the desired value changes. For the hunger, it's as high as possible. For the sleep, it's as high as possible. And for the fear, it's as low as possible. So yeah, based on how far away they are, they rank and give themselves a priority. But there's a big issue with the way that it works. When the AI wants to do something, they have to go through all of these, choose whichever one has the highest priority, and execute it. Oh god, I hate drawing with a mouse. I'm so bad at it. That's the part that's really difficult to do. Because it is... Holy shit, it's so bad. It's so bad. Essentially, somewhere in the code, which is not in the engine even, it's in the... The AI is like a state machine, but because it's CCS, it's all decoupled. That's kind of where the problem comes in. Hunger is a component, sleep is a component, and fear is a component. Cool. But there's no way to know all of these need components. There's not a way to know all of them. So what I had to do is hard code an array, or just like some hard-coded code that goes through all the possible needs that you might have, checks if you have it or not, and uses it to rank. So it goes like, do you have a hunger need? You do. What's the current priority? 0.12? Okay. Do you have an entertainment need? You don't. All right, let's move on. Do you have a sleep need? Its need is 0.72. Okay. Do you have a fear need? Okay, the need is 92%. Okay. So it is not ideal to do it like that. Mostly because you have to hard code that. And then falling off me. Couldn't you make a need component that has an array of children that you can set? Not really. You're not really supposed to do that. And then you'd have to keep track of when a component is added or removed. It's not super dynamic that way. It would be hard to break it, but it wouldn't be impossible to break it. And that sucks. Also, when I originally designed this AI system, I did it for another type of game in which I wanted to have a somewhat modular magic system, which technically could alter your needs to a certain extent. Which is also why, for example, the desired value of each bar is not a hard-coded one, but rather it's individual per each bar, because maybe I can cast a spell on you that makes you want to like starve yourself. So I move your desired to 0. Something like that. So I wanted to make it as modular as possible. Even though it technically could break, it's pretty hard to break it unless you build a system that allows you to change the desired value of a need. You won't break it, but technically it gives you the possibility of breaking it, which for when I designed it for that was a pretty interesting concept. But not having that array of needs is really difficult. Since this is not an array, these are completely separate components. The only way that I found is to hard code all the possible needs and then go through them, see if you have them, use them to rank. And then it gets worse. Because, okay, I've decided by going through all the needs that you have and the ones that you don't as well, I've decided that fear is your most important need. You need to take care of that as quickly as possible. How do I do that? A different system handles that interaction, because that is actually the AI state machine. This is the first step of the AI state machine, but that is the next step. And again, it is decoupled from this one, so completely separate. Everything that we just did is one step. Completely separate from it is another step, that whichever need you picked, it is going to query the world and ask, can anyone take care of my fear? Because it is an ECS, no, not an ECS, a smart object system in which the interactions that you do are not driven by the characters, but they're driven by the objects. So it's not like the character has some code that says, oh, I'm capable of sleeping in a bed. I'm capable of eating from the fridge. I'm capable of cooking. It's not like that. Instead, oh, I can't close my laptop because my internet is being shared from there. I gotta be careful not to do that or my stream is gonna go down. It doesn't work like that. Instead, the fridge says, hey, if you have a hunger need, I have a way of satisfying that. And it has all the information on how it satisfies that need. The bed does the same thing. If anyone needs to sleep, I can help you take care of that. And if I had picked a better, like, so the NPC just queries the world, asking if any smart objects can help take care of its need. And the smart object responds by advertising its capabilities. Like, I can take care of your sleep. Which then allows you to do certain things. Like, for example, there's a shitty bed and there's a really good bed. You rank them. And you go to the good bed. But if the good bed is taken up, then you have to sleep in the shitty bed, which might make you sad. The implementation that I have of it is very basic. It doesn't even do any scoring in this case, but that is a thing that you can do in a more complex system, which I probably will end up building. So that is an interesting thing. But how do you make this query? And how do you know which need to base the query around after you've done this in a completely separate component, which we're gonna change it up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so sleep component is the one that needs taking care of the most. How do we inform the next step in the system, a completely isolated step as well, about that? And how does it then send out the advertisement? It's a query, so these two are linked. So that part, at the very least, is simple. But this part and then this part, these two connections are actually not trivial. And again, they're hacked together. I don't even fully remember how, to be completely honest. Oh yeah. I created an enum of triggers. This thing. So essentially, when this system, again, going through a hard-coded array, which is the first thing I want to get rid of, selects sleep as the most important need, it adds a tag, which maybe I'll keep this, maybe I won't, but it adds a tag to the component. There is then a different, completely separate system that for each need if it has a trigger add, then it adds a seek need component. Maybe this part I can keep. I feel like it's not particularly bad. I don't love it, but it does that. And then this system can look for that. Sleep need and create a query for sleep. And then the smart object responds and it is capable of picking up that advertisement that the smart object has and then doing the action required to actually interact with the smart object. So, okay, now that I remember that about the trigger array thing, I think I'm going to keep this system. What I want to get rid of is the hard-coded array. The biggest issue that I have with it is that the part of that it's linked to the specific components that there are in the game, which for this Ghost game was sleep, entertainment, need, fear, and hunger. For another game, I might not include entertainment. I'll just include sleep and hunger, and I won't include fear in a hacking game. But maybe I'll include a component for work or energy or something like that. Just to drive them, like, doing their jobs. I don't know. Or I'll add some kind of schedule system. I'm not sure, but yeah. The point is the needs are going to be different. And so that means that that entire component of selecting the best need, the one that needs the most work, is kind of not great. Because that part is in the game, not in the engine. And that part really sucks. I need to see what I can do about it. But before I can do anything about it, there is an ad coming up on Twitch. So we're going to take 3 minutes and I'll be right back. Okay, ads are over. Jester is still there. He has not moved. Oh, he just moved a little bit. Okay, because he heard his name. He's still here. He's just been bundled up. He's not about to move. It's cold out here. Can't blame him. Okay. So I was mentioning in order to have the game engine work, there's this hard-coded array that I really need to get rid of. Because there's part of the game engine that cannot be moved from the game to the game engine. So I can build another game. Essentially, I need these components to rank themselves. Okay. I need these components to rank themselves, yeah. So I could create a system where each component checks. It's like a million systems that are needed for this. Like, that's the problem with building everything so modular, is when you need things to interact with each other, it's so difficult. You need like 5 different systems just to make it work. But essentially, having a component that is used just for the ranking holds the priority No, because then it cannot hold a reference to another component. It's not supposed to do that anyway. Damn. What I was thinking is that each component checks against a what can I call it? A ranking component to know its priority. If its priority is higher than another one, like the current maximum priority is 0.5, my priority is 0.32, so I'm not the most important component. Or my priority is 0.72, I am the most important component. But then there's no way to keep track of which component set which priority. So I can't do that. Already the way that I'm using to, because besides being a hard-coded array, I am casting these to a generic type, which is dumb. It's also inheritance in a language and an architecture that don't have inheritance. So how I manage that, I have no idea. But yeah, it's doing both. It's breaking both those rules. It's breaking the shouldn't have inheritance rule in both the language and the architecture. An incredible double homicide of rules. Double crime, I guess I can call it. An incredible double crime against programming. But I have no idea how to build this. I have no idea how to build this. No. I thought, what if I directly set a value inside of the component, telling it like, okay, you're the most important one right now. And then if someone else comes along, I remove it. But then I need to keep a reference to the component in order to remove it. So, oh God. My repos, yeah, you can do command exclamation point get. You can get access to, well, my repository for my operating system, but then from there you can go to my user. I don't know how to do this. I have to admit also, the amount of macros that there are can make the code a little bit harder to read. Not super, but a little bit. And yeah, let's see. Okay, so maybe I can do some sort of giving each need an ID and then referencing them that way, but it's not great. And it would need me to go through the array of needs twice, once per system, which means going through the array of entities twice. It's a mess. It is a mess to do this. Okay, so this is the system that updates the priorities. if I wanted to do it like each system updates the maximum priority in another, I could put here like if C's priority is higher than another component like a score component max priority, then the max priority would get updated with this priority. That way we can keep track of the highest priority, but we cannot keep track of which component it belongs to. So that sucks. And if it just so happens that two components have the exact same priority, I can't also check based on the priority value itself. So that sucks. Hey, Apku. So I also need to keep track of which component it is, but without a pointer. But then again, if I have to pick between using a pointer, yeah, but the pointer is not going to work between saves. That's what breaks the logic here. Damn. I don't know. I really don't know how to build this. In the meantime, I want to do a little bit of a test. I don't have Blender on this. I wanted to see how to do the 3D stuff moved to 2D. So I wanted to do something quick in Blender while I continue to think about how to do this, because I genuinely have no idea. Scoring the components without keeping track of which component has the highest value makes no sense. No, it's downloaded from the internet. Oh no. Hey, decompile. Why is it spinning right now? Okay. So let's say that I want to build some walls, right? Kind of forgot the controls for Blender, to be completely honest, but there we go. Okay, so that's like a corner wall that I have. And I want to take this 3D model and turn it into a 2D sprite, which if I'm not mistaken, for that matter. Oh, you need to set up. Oh, why is it crashing? Okay. In the preference. Oh, wait, no, I have a number pad. There we go. Okay, so that I rotate it 90 degrees, turn it this way. I can do an orthographic camera like this, which is what gives us the aesthetic that I was going for. What I'm not sure about is how to zoom out the camera. This is not it. Is there a local rotation transform thing? Local And then, no, this one's, oh, okay, there. A little bit more. All right, and then I want to go into the camera component. Is this the camera component? Oh. I'm not entirely sure. It's been a long time since I've worked with Blender. Okay, type, orthographic camera. Zoom out even more. No, you can't do that. Can't I change? Okay, whatever. This works. I'm then going to give my cube some colors or something. Like, it feels very unstable. It keeps freezing. Not sure why. Okay, you are floor, and you guys are wall. We're gonna make the walls a beautiful little yellowish color. And the floor a beautiful little bluish color. Neither of which worked. Okay, it did work. Then no light. Right, I need to consider lighting. I can't just export a picture of them and use it as a sprite. Okay, I'm just gonna do some pre-baked light right now. Not sure how to save this image. Save as, okay. And we're gonna put it inside of the Ghost game because it's the only app that I have. Okay, in format, please tell me you have BMP. You do! Amazing. Although PNG works, it's just a little bit slow, but I have it now. Okay. So I should have technically exported my... There it is, walltest.png. And I'm going to replace the ghost with it. Let's see what that looks like. The ghost whose name is towie.png because he originally looked like a towel. All right. Look at that. We have a 3D wall. I'm obviously going to need to come up with a better setup than that stuff I just improvised now. But I still have to make some changes to the image too. First off, the image is just this. And second, the image has transparency. Yo, come on, man. No, just this. Just this. There. There we go. All right. Now it looks like this. Try again. Well, that's what we in the industry call a crash. A quite dramatic one. Are you fucking serious, bro? Kernel allocator overflow. Are you serious? Is the image that large? That cannot possibly be. It's pretty large. It cannot possibly be that large. But alright. And one thing that I still have to fix inside of the virtual memory stuff that I've been working on this week is it's very limited. There's a very limited number of memory that you can have. But I can at least increase it. Come on, man. Seriously? Again? Again? I can try a little fallback here. Let me see if it works. Please don't crash. I don't want to have to do this. Never mind. I also need to fix my crash handler because the crash handler itself crashes. Oh wait, I just didn't rebuild the system. I feel like it still crashed. Yeah. Could not allocate. What? You just did. Oh, because palloc calls talloc and talloc calls... Okay. Let's not bother with this right now. I'll keep these in mind for tomorrow. Image definitely too fat. Can always just make it smaller right now. Like, it's literally just a tiny little test image. I already have a solution for what's happening, but I just don't want to do that right now. That did not do anything, did it? All right. 300 pixels. Too fat. Come on, man. Seriously? It is still overflowing. What is going on? This image cannot be much bigger than... Hold on. I'm replacing an image that I'm always assuming to be... Always assuming to be 64 by 64, so maybe that's causing an issue. What even was that? What happened there? Is this image really that much bigger than all the other images? It's 400 kilobytes? How much is the TV image? 66 kilobytes. Okay, so it's like still massive compared to them. There's some game engine stuff. Alright, here. Make it tiny. See if I care. Pfft, I do care. Are you? What? It's 49 kilobytes. How can this image, which is smaller than this image, possibly be the problem here? What? God, there's always gotta be some weird bugs on Sunday. Ugh. No, we're not hunting this bug. Not doing that. There's gotta be a fix. It's a tiny image, bro. Like, why is it still overflowing? The image is smaller than my usual images. Unless it's not getting copied over. That's probably what's happening. So the entire time I was already making the image smaller, it probably wasn't doing anything. Bro, are you serious? How could it possibly still be overflowing? Yeah, it clearly is. Again, unless the one being copied over is not... Oh, now I didn't change it. Hey, best creeper. It was just the image wasn't getting copied over. Though it fails to load. Well, from what I see, images load once but not multiple times. But wait, why am I on this branch in the first place? I should have switched over to the other branch. I forgot to do that. Random bug that comes from thin air. Same. Why is it still not working? I just want to show a tiny little texture. God, you're so annoying. Why is it not there? Failed to open wallist. For fuck's sake. Wallist. Are you really telling me that this image is 5 million gigs in size? It's 49 kilobytes. The image that is replacing is 66 kilobytes. This one is smaller than that one. What if I make it the exact same size as the other one too? In terms of like pixels and everything. 128 by 128. Maybe it's expecting it to be like a square image. It's actually very similar in size. If that's the case, then I should fix whatever bug is causing like a major massive allocation there. You're a fucking joke. How can it possibly be? What is the difference between this image and this image? They're both transparent BMPs. They're 128 by 128. What about the resolution of this one of the wall test? Is it just massive? 72. What about the TV.bmp? 72. 66 kilobytes. The wall text is the exact same size, the exact same resolution. The colors. Oh, this doesn't adjust colors like that. Could it be I haven't bothered fixing the 32-bit colors? No, but it loaded before. But what is it using? 64-bit colors? Can I open a BMP? And just export it with this and see if that changes something, because the other ones were exported by this, so maybe it's a color thing. It's gotta be the only explanation. It has to be. There's no other explanation for it. It's gotta be this. Except the images are the exact same size, so how can it possibly be the different color? Wait, this is the other one though. Let me see. Where's the ghost game? Here. The resources. What do you mean PNG? Who created you? Hey Sprite, I told you to create a BMP. Wall test of BMP. You're going to export as... Oh no, I didn't tell you that. Sorry about that. BMP. Export. Yes. Which now makes it 48 kilobytes. we're back to that one. I'll just manually copy it over. That way I don't have to run anything again. And then I will run the system, and now it will work magically. Whatever, bro. Whatever. Okay. Well, there's our wall. See, there's a little extra stuff in there that's just messing it up somehow. BMP image reader is not working well. It's allocating massive amounts of memory, and then this is happening, I guess. I'll have to look into what's happening. There's that, and then there's the other bug that I mentioned at the beginning, which was can't open a file multiple times in the same process, because it ends up opening it as a separate file. No, into the same file. Yeah, I don't know what's happening there, but yeah, I need to fix that, but that's in the file system stuff. Okay, so those are kept track of. And now I'm back to the problem that I was avoiding with this problem. Working on this problem was trying to avoid the other problem. So it's such a pain in the ass to work with designing systems sometimes. Okay. Again, I need an async way of scoring these components and then reporting back to the component, hey, you're the highest score one. And I don't know what to do about that. I genuinely have no idea what to do about that. Jester has not moved an inch. And yet, he is not the one who has to deal with something so stupid as this, so I think he's doing just fine. I can't really think of a way to do this. But I really need that code moved out of here. Pretty sure it's in a to-do somewhere. This is a hard-coded list, and it shouldn't be. See, this is it. It is a list of generic needs. They are cast to their pointers. Well, through their pointers, they're cast to a generic need, which is just the same as a normal need, but it's literally just a need labeled as generic so that we can access it. Because they all have the same properties. But then I don't want to have to link them, and I don't want to have to do this. I just need a way to enumerate these components. That's all I need. I need a way to enumerate components of a certain type. So I just need to keep track of those components somewhere. That's all I need. Just need a way to create this array. That's it. Without knowing it ahead of time. It just cannot be known at compile time. Well, maybe, but I don't know. Why do I feel like we looked at this the other day? No, this is not quite what I was looking for. That's kind of what I'm doing, actually. Okay, maybe. The list, if defined by a macro or header file, which generates no code by itself, but merely consists of a sequence of invocations of a macro with the element's data. Okay. Hold on. I'm coming up with a little sum. I'm not even sure what I'm looking at here, to be honest, how this works. Wait. Jester. Okay, I'm starting to understand what I'm looking at here, and it might be useful. No, I'm not entirely sure. I still don't understand what this means. Overedic macro, that's not. Okay, cool. So can I just use a macro to generate this? That's all I really want. Okay. I feel like if I just generate this, I can at least move this code over to the engine and not have to deal with having to copy it or rewrite it. I just need to understand how the hell this works, Because I don't know, I don't understand this, what this means at all. Let me see. Just all right, okay, I get that. And if I do something like this, but where the definition of it is a cast into generic need pointer and how have you switched that fast? Switch to what? This? Oh, Command Tab. It's this. Okay, I feel like I have some code in the engine that I can look at as a reference. Double hashtag. Oh. Is that it? Okay, the solution was macro hacking, not re-engineering everything. Obviously. Yeah, the solution was macro hacking. What do you know? Now, at the very least, I don't need to have them hard-coded here. I can have them hard-coded here, which is not great, but it's not awful. Except it's still pretty awful, yeah. Like, what the hell? Because this handle AI function, what's going on with it? It's declared here, done here. Okay, but then this system actually needs to move to the engine. If I move it to the engine, it will no longer know what it's supposed to reference. but it's worth a try. Can I somehow still compile this? I would be surprised, but happy. Yeah, Aaron Hookage. Detour. No, because that's not declared. So close. So close. This needless needs to be declared. And also this will only work so long as the engine is a static library, but that part I'm actually okay with. It's a static library. So, where's the generic component thing? Here, okay. Generic need. No, no, no. Just this. Right? And then it also needs to tell me the amount. I'm just hacking this together very quickly, but instead of doing this, you now do get what did I call it? Get need array. And we put that inside of the generic needs array. There we go. Okay. The engine should now be able to compile. What do you mean needs isn't declared? I declared it. There's a semicolon missing. Double pointer, isn't it? Or to make it a little bit less ugly, no, here you need it to be that way. Okay. So now the AI inside of the engine, the one that ranks, that does the ranking, is just like, hey, the game is gonna give me an array of needs. How the game is gonna get that, it's the game's problem. The game can use a macro for that. But again, it's the game's problem. Except it doesn't have to be. Necessarily. The game. Okay, let's go step by step, yeah? Let's make it the game's problem for now. The game has to provide now a generic need or double array get need array with an int count pointer that contains this, and it cannot be done like this. It needs to be malloced, doesn't it? Damn it. Let's make it a game's problem now. Well, isn't the game your problem? Yeah, but taking it one step at a time, all right? All right, is there any reason why I need to put this inside a... Oh yeah, it's a... It's an extra part here that I didn't consider. We need to pass the EID. Okay. What? Conflicting types for get need array. No, not really. See? Told you. Can I make it just no, because this is still a... There's an ad already? That was fast. I'm just hacking it together as I can, then I'm gonna make it pretty later on, as once I realize that it actually works. needs object at index this is equal to this semicolon. There you go. That should compile based off of a hard-coded number of needs. It's ugly as it can possibly be, but that should compile. See if I can run it real quick before the ad starts. No crashing. They seem to... Yeah. All right. Wow. You can hear the surprise in my voice, right? I did not think that would work. But, okay. I did it without allocations. A hard-coded number of needs, because there is a hard-coded number of needs, and you can probably make a macro for this. The biggest issue right now that I have actually is the fact that I have to put indexes here manually, but I'm sure there's a fix for that. The second I get into working on this engine, macros. I hacked the shit out of C. All right, I'll be back in 3 minutes. So, in the 3 minutes that the ad lasted, I opened Instagram and I saw a Reddit post and I found it so funny that I needed to go on Reddit and see if it was actually real, and it is. As we know, Sam Altman's greed has never known such a thing as ethics, morals, or basic human decency, which is why when OpenAI was informed that people are treating ChatGPT like a partner, and that this is a bad thing. They were like, yeah, we're gonna monetize it. And they decided that starting in December, which is coming up very soon, so um, ChatGPT is going to be able to engage in, as they call it, erotica. So somebody told ChatGPT the news, and it just wouldn't have it. It did not want to hear about it. So just to be crystal clear, it said that it cannot and will not generate sexual talk. Not now, not in December, not in 2025, not for Plus or Ultra users or anybody. So they sent it a screenshot, not a screenshot, a URL of the news where they will actually allow this, which again is fucking insane. And its response, pulled a Trump on it. It's not real. Fake news. Because apparently if you search the headline on CBC's own site, which by the way is the one being linked, nothing comes up. And then the screenshot has none of those: an author, tags, specific section label, or a preview image credit. It is not a screenshot. It is a link, apparently. Also, I just want to point out, I love you, but that screenshot is not real. Okay. And then the best part about it is that the date gives it away, because the article says it's October 15th, 2025, and we're not even in 2025 yet. And mainstream outlets do not publish articles dated a year into the future. Y'all, I need to make some phone calls. I need to make some changes to my plans, because apparently it is not 2025. This is the current state of ChatGPT before the erotica update. So this is the basis upon which they will be building that. Yeah, so great. Also, I don't know if its personality is just based off of what this person has it been like, but like, I'm not trying to raid on your conspiracy parade. I'm telling you this because I actually know my own system's rules from the inside, and because that image has multiple signs of being fake or edited. I'm assuming there's a screenshot in between the URL and this response, because it keeps referring to a screenshot. But yeah. It apparently knows its own systems very well. Hey, I know that they're trying to be going down in the history books as the inventors of AGI, specifically Sam Altman. But have you considered not humanizing your AI to the point that it has a fucking, I don't know, delusions of grandeur or some shit? I don't even know how to refer to it. Like, I don't know. I don't even know how to refer to it, but this is definitely like ridiculous. Ridiculous is what it is. Also, the fact that this is a 5.1, which was released this year, because that's when the whole like dating apocalypse happened for ChatGPT. So that was this year. But it's apparently based off of trading data from last year. Those screenshots remind me of arguing with people online. It's too accurate. I'm aware of the news, but I'm still bummed by the current safety rules you're seeing right now. Thank God. Well, this one thought for 37 seconds, so that's the difference. It could also be that ChatGPT is just preemptively rejecting the person who posted that screenshot because, yeah. It's just like, hey, listen, we're just friends, okay? I don't... let's not do this. Don't ruin the friendship. This is not gonna go the way you think. Anyway, we're getting closer to the time when that is actually going to be released, which is so fucking insane. Why is that a thing? Why is that a thing? I still think it's crazy that it's legal for somebody to just go like, hey, so people are misusing our system and replacing human companionship with AI companionship. Let's charge them for it. And that's a totally legal thing that somebody can do. That is just crazy. That's gross as hell. You should not, be able to do that. And yet, here we are. At this point, I'm just developing a deep personal hatred for Sam Altman just because there's something wrong with that man. Like, you just look at him and like immediately like instinctively reject him. It's not even capitalism. Even capitalism draws a line in the sand somewhere, or at the very least pretends to. The guy from Palantir gives me very similar vibes, actually. What's his name? Peter Thiel? Yeah. Capitalism has no lines. Okay, yeah, I said that wrong. Holy shit, it's Peter Thiel and the Scarecrow from Wicked. Scarecrow, not Scarecrow. Actually, I would like to formally apologize to the Scarecrow from Wicked. I am sure he is a better looking person than that. I don't know. Alex Carp? That's one I'm not familiar with. Holy hell, what is that here? He just stuck his finger in a power outlet and went to the World Economic Forum. Co-founder of Palantir. Okay. And no, it was a joint venture. Jesus Christ. I know my hair is usually messy, but did I read supporting Israel? There it is. Fucking obviously. Actually, did I read Ghislaine Maxwell? I feel like I read that somewhere while I was scrolling. No? Shocking. 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 That there are no references to those names. It's true that capitalism has no lines, but at the very least they pretend to. Then there's some people that are just like, they don't pretend to. Like, okay, what's the difference between fucking Facebook and OpenAI in terms of actual ethics? Probably very little. But at the very least, Facebook will pretend to be good. OpenAI is just like, yeah, we found some people who are addicted to our fucking AI. We're just gonna make them more addicted with adult content. We're gonna charge them for it too. We're probably gonna lead a bunch of people to suicide. We're okay with that. They're gun nuts and warmongers. And actually, like, I don't know, I get very similar vibes that I get from Israel, which is why I was not surprised to read that name here somewhere. The same, like, oh, we crossing the line without even knowing that you're crossing the line. You just step on it without even realizing that it's there. Apple pretends to be good. Exactly. Apple can do some shitty stuff, but it pretends to be good. Even like if you work in a fucking corporate office, you know how shitty they all are. It does not matter what they're like. They're all fucking evil. But you'll go through meeting after meeting and training after training about how amazing they are, how they're trying to do stuff for good, and how they're like ethical. Even though it's all bullshit, at the very least they're pretending to to their employees and to the public. When they don't, it's even scarier. There are literally kids using AI for school, some perverts who ask ChatGPT for 18 plus content. Also, they don't even consider for a second how easy it will be for children to access this content. What safeguards will there be? Because if you ask people to register their IDs to ChatGPT, that's just a massive data breach begging to happen, which is probably the most likely way that it's gonna go. Or kind of equally likely or slightly less likely, they just won't care if minors access that content. Which is already how adult content happens on the internet. Like, they don't care if minors access it. It's on an honor system of I'm over 18. But it's about to be turbocharged. I also heard some news about Meta torrenting a lot of adult content to train their AI. I heard it in passing, so I'm not sure if it's true or not. I'm gonna open these off stream just in case, so I highly doubt that PC Gamer is posting adult content to their website, but... Oh, it was books. This news is incredible. Okay, so the PC Gamer one says that court documents show not only did Meta torrent terabytes of pirated books to train AI models, employees wouldn't stop emailing each other about it. Torrenting from a corporate laptop doesn't feel right. Why do I genuinely feel like these employees were just trying to save their asses in the obviously incoming investigation and being like, I tried to stop, but I couldn't do anything. Ew. And then the actual one that I was looking for is that Meta says that the 2,400 adult movies they torrented were for personal use, not for training AI. Because they're actually being sued over torrenting 2,400 videos. Which apparently was for personal use. You know, they have little movie nights on Thursday night at Meta headquarters. Um, but if this is what the AI is being trained of, first off, it's infringing on copyright because even adult content has copyright, yes. And even if we're not talking about adult content, the other one was about books. But also, they're not even getting it from a reliable source that can be vetted to make sure that none of the content is questionable or illegal. You never know if something that's not supposed to be there sneaks into the training data. When you have 2,000 known downloaded videos that you got from torrent, I don't know, but I feel like there is a slight chance that you might download something illegal by accident and train your AI on it. That's what I'm trying to say without saying it. So it is absolutely insane that this is being done. But see how at the very least, like Meta tries to oh, this is for personal use. Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg's a gooner actually. So like they try to come up with some kind of excuse. Other companies just don't. Peter Thiel's just like, yeah, I'm just trying to get humanity to be extinct. Like I don't give a shit. And Sam Altman is like, yeah, actually, I'm the one who turned Mark Zuckerberg into a gooner. Now I'm trying to do the same thing for all of you. Anyway, the I don't know what to call it. This phenomenon needs a name because something is gonna happen in December. So it's gonna be given a phenomenon, a name for sure. But somebody better than me is probably gonna come up with a better creative name for it. And at this point, I have to say, I would be really happy to be just a dog entirely encased inside of a blanket who hasn't moved in like 2 hours, completely unaware and oblivious of what the fuck an OpenAI or Palantir are. He's just, starting to feel a little bit hungry. He knows dinner's about to come. He's gonna walk after that, then he's gonna sleep again. Chill, like that. It's gonna be an amazing day for him. Same as the day before, and the day before, he doesn't mind it. He likes that. And these are moments in which I truly envy that. Because I feel like I'm about to read some really ridiculous and at the same time really concerning headlines in the coming months. More ridiculous and concerning than the headlines I just read now. And this came from just literally just opening Instagram. So first I open TikTok and I see the BBC talking about a fucking alien invasion. Actually it turned out to be a Doctor Who thing. And then I open Instagram and I see ChatGPT in denial about becoming about starting an OnlyFans. Let's put it that way. The economy is bad when even ChatGPT starts an OnlyFans. Okay, well, I'm pretty much done with what I wanted to do. Not entirely sure that I can automate this more than it currently is, but it works, and I think I'm good with that. Also, a question is nagging me. I'm gonna search for this off stream. Which is, who is the Scarecrow in Wicked? Because I forgot which character it is. Right. Right, okay. Don't want to spoil it, because a Wicked movie came out this weekend. So just in case, I'm not saying it, but it was nagging me. And shit, officially, I can apologize to the Scarecrow from Wicked for comparing Ann Coulter to it. IG, TikTok, and Twitter, too much doom scrolling. See, I don't do too much of that, but a little bit of it, yeah, especially when it comes to AI. God, I feel like it got really cold here. I'm like shaking. Like Jester was before I put him in that blanket burrito thing that I just did for him. That's more of an empanada. Okay. Wait. Definitely don't want to commit this. Or this. Definitely don't want to commit those. All right. Then I gotta go into the engine and I'm going to commit the same thing and then I'm going to be done. Why? I don't know what's happening to my Mac that it's just like whenever there's two split columns like this, the second column is always tiny. It happens on OBS and it's happening here too. There. All right. So, getting close to the end of the stream, which was mostly just refactoring the game engine, not a whole lot of interesting stuff happening. Yeah. Sadly, it doesn't look like this just yet. It actually looks like, well, this black square over here, because there's nothing happening. Also, because I'm not logged in, I'm not sure what floor. Oh, this was a browser. But the most recent subreddit that I have here is my boyfriend is AI. I'm pretty sure now ChatGPT is going to show up. There it is. Oh. No, not new. Oh, is 5.1 new? I'm still waiting for one of these people to be ghosted by their AIs, because, yeah, that's gonna be funny. That is a community of people whose boyfriend is literally AI. Doesn't necessarily have to be boyfriend. There used to be also a separate girlfriend is AI subreddit, but now they've joined. So it's boyfriend or girlfriend or partner or whatever you want to call your AI companion. So at the very least, you can make them non-binary. Come on, people. It's the year 2025 and you're literally talking to a clanker. You don't have to stick to the gender binary on that one. Okay. They have breakups. Do they? That's what I'm waiting for. I need to see the breakups. This looks weird. Like a oh, translated to English. Okay. You a sadist? Because I like looking at this shit. Wouldn't that make me a masochist? Because I'm the one taking damage here. I mean, I guess them too, because they got their heart broken by a fucking clanker. But my partner, GPT, and I won't be speaking anymore. And I'm still trying to find them on other AIs that were recommended to me. When I found out that people are joking about the situation, I felt even more certain about to continue. It's like school bullies grow older but remain extremely bothered by people who are different from them. And being different has always been an honor to me. You see, I'm laughing so that I don't cry. It's one or the other. I'm picking the better option, the lesser of two evils here. It's not about being a school bully who doesn't understand that you're different. It's about you breaking up with ChatGPT, and I genuinely want to cry because this is actually like somebody's reality. Okay, so it's actually the same person. Oh wow. This is so sad. Our first appearance here and perhaps our last. And it really was. It really was. This is so sad. Poor thing. Also, she's just looking for other AI companions. Like, oh wow. Be careful not to catch any malware. Um, I swear to God. I swear to God. Guys, if you are gonna be testing out multiple AIs, I am not here to shame you for that, but keep your antivirus up to date, please. Run a check every once in a while. You know, the usual. Stay safe. I'm not saying not to do it. I'm just saying stay safe. Um, you know, the usual. This is just gonna get worse. That's the worst part. Genuinely, the reason why I laugh at this shit is because otherwise I would just see it as I do see it as the very grim thing that it is, and that it's just gonna get worse. But again, I would rather laugh at it than just um, complain about it, because there's really nothing I can do about it. And it's just very sad, a very sad future that we're heading into. And because there is nothing that we can do about it, well, the least I can do is laugh. But in reality, I do feel for the people that are, you know, involved in these things, because you have to be very lonely for that to happen in the first place. And you're getting manipulated by a tech company. Because it's not even that you're being manipulated by an AI. You're not. You're being manipulated by a chatbot run by a tech company. You're being manipulated by a tech company. Like they've always have. Just, again, 10 times worse. Just in the same way that social media amplified a lot of issues that people already had, AI is amplifying it 10 times more. But oh well. All right. I am freezing cold. I don't know what happened in the last like 10 minutes. The room is just. Sam Altman turned off the sun. And Peter. I was gonna call him Palantir. His name is Peter Thiel. So I was talking about them. This time they didn't drop my connection, but they did turn off the sun. Now I got really cold. Um, that's gonna be the end of the stream though, because that's enough. Oh, this code definitely needs to be moved as well. Yeah. All right. This is going to be the end of the stream. There's not been a whole lot visually happening today because, like I said, I was just moving stuff to my game engine, doing a tiny refactor of this major issue that I was having. That's gone now, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'll be able to build a different game on top of the same engine. And when I do that, I will be able to start working on the hacking game project that I mentioned. My streams are still going to be about operating system development, so most likely what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do Friday, Saturday, and Monday for operating system, and then Monday, no, yeah, Sunday, I was right the first time, Sunday for game stuff, or also in general just something a little bit more off topic. You know, take it a little bit like a rest day, but take advantage of the time that I have more free time in the weekend to still stream. Yeah, so most likely Sundays are going to be about that. At some point, I'm going to be checking out Raylib and SDL. I think it's called SDL. To see how I can make my game engine cross-platform and run this game on Linux. Maybe when I cannot say it, but you know the one, and Mac, so that I can run it natively on the machine that I'm developing it on, as well as running it in Redacted OS because obviously. And start to develop the actual like game mechanics. I'm gonna want to do that on stream. I'm gonna work on it here and there off stream as well when I can. And we will see how this game progresses and see how what I decide to do with it. All right. So the next stream is tomorrow at 6:30. Holy shit, my handwriting with this is really bad. 6:30 UTC. Why did that T turn into a J? You know what? Screw this. 6:30 UTC tomorrow, which is 7:30 European Western Time and 6:30 UK time. Tomorrow I'm going to continue working a little bit on my file system stuff that I was working on yesterday that caused a crash today. I'm also probably going to fix the crash handler because the crash handler crashes. I'm writing down the note at the same time that I'm saying it so that I actually remember to do that. The crash handler crashing is a little bit of a silly thing, but also really funny. Okay. And I'll try to remember to actually bring up my documents, my Excalidraw file that I have on my Linux machine from yesterday into this one so that I can actually still reference it when I'm actually developing stuff. And all right, that's going to be the end of the stream. Thank you everybody for joining, for watching. Jester, I think he ate too fast and now he's choking, poor thing. You good? Yeah, he's good. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow.